Hey, what's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC, and today we are checking out the Grim Workshop subscription for November 2023. This subscription is $20 a month, entirely made in the USA, and they send you survival, EDC, or bushcrafting type gear in the form factor of a credit card, dog tag, or medallion. So let's dive right in with this month, starting with the least expensive, working our way up to the most expensive. And right off the bat, we have something a little bit different. Typically, we'll get 2 tip cards in every bubble mailer or every subscription, and those are valued at $1.95 each. This time, both of those were replaced with tip guides. So the first one we got was the Bod Drill Kit, guide number 5, and this is how to make a bow drill kit and then how to use that to start a friction fire. With the tip cards, they were just double-sided. This is actually folded, so you end up with 8 panels. One of those is kind of your table of contents, tells you what to expect. One is their socials, so you end up with 6 panels of information and really detailed information. You have illustrations and step-by-step instructions, tons of info on here. They're able to pack quite a bit more onto these guides than they are on those tip cards, so that's kind of cool. Now, these are valued at $4.95, whereas the tip cards were valued at $1.95, so a little bit more expensive, but in reality, you're not paying any different for the subscription. They're just saying you get a little bit more value because you still pay exactly the same price, $20 a month. And so we do get 2 of those still. The second one is guide number 6 on fire construction. Now, this one says that it's going to have info on clearing the area, locating tinder, locating kindling, locating fuel, constructing the fire, and tips for wet wood, as well as keeping the coals hot. Again, you have that social info on that back panel, and then tons of really great information in here. Again, 6 panels with illustrations and step-by-step instructions and information. So kind of a cool thing. I don't know if that's going to be a permanent stay of these going forward or if that's just for November. To be honest, I prefer the tip cards a little bit more, even though they say they were less value, just because of how durable they are. I feel like I could tear this pretty easily. I also feel like if this got drenched, it would get pretty soggy and just kind of fall apart, where those tip cards seem almost indestructible. And so yes, you're getting a little bit less information, but feels a little bit more carryable. I don't know if that's 100% true. That's just based off my initial observations, but just kind of my thoughts on those. Still like seeing those. They're a little bit different. It's nice to see them trying out new things, and so definitely don't mind that, but that was my initial impression. Now, we still get the same 2 cards. You usually get kind of a lower valued card, mid value card, and then one of their high value cards. And so for the smaller card, we got the Gaff hook fishing kit roundabout. And you can see right off the bat, this one is branded under both Exotac and Grim Workshop. And that's because this style, the roundabout style of these cards, is made for the Exotac X-Reel. So different brand. The X-Reel is a hand reel that they make that has storage capacity for these like medallion shaped cards. And obviously a lot of them are going to be fishing related because it's a hand reel, but not all of them. And so this one does happen to be fishing related. So we have about 4 hooks, 3 lures, and then that gaff hook. And if you're not familiar with the gaff hook, it's meant to pop off tied to a stick, and then you can use it to bring the fish in that last couple feet so you're not breaking the line when you pull it out of the water, which often happens. And so just making sure that you don't lose your catch. And I don't know that I've seen that on any of the other cards we've gotten in these subscriptions, so kind of cool to see that one here. But otherwise, a lot of stuff we've seen before, which obviously don't so much mind. It's definitely kind of a nicely packaged thing that goes with another product that I don't happen to have, but they do sell tins to carry these if you do have, or if you don't have that. Now, here is the information card. I already went over what's on the card, so I'm not going to read through it again, but feel free to pause and read here if you'd like to. On the bottom, you see it does have that tool retention system, that black portion behind those tools. That works really, really well, especially in comparison to some of the other survival type cards I've checked out. It also has this adhesive backing, so you can stick it to the outside of a tin or really anything you want outside of a tackle box or any random thing you want to stick it to, obviously smooth, flat surface, and store it on the outside. So that's kind of a cool thing. I've never actually utilized the adhesive portion, but I do like that it is there. And so the Roundabout was valued at $14.95. We also have a full-size card in the credit card form factor, the Bob Handler signature card. This one's valued at $21.95 and has a lot of fishing hooks and lures on here as well. So that part does feel a little bit redundant, but not the biggest deal if you're going to be using these separately. You have the suturing noodles up top, the sewing noodles on the bottom. You have a knife, which I'm assuming has a nice little chisel grind on it, a saw, and probably my favorite thing that I saw on here besides that knife, which is just kind of cool. I don't know that I'm going to get a ton of use out of it, but I love seeing these like weird little knives on the cards. The favorite thing though is the hook sharpener up here. So not a tool that you actually remove, but you do have these hooks and needles and things that come very sharp. In fact, I've cut myself pulling off both hooks and needles from these cards, so they do come very sharp, but it's nice to be able to have a way to sharpen those up with this little groove here meant for sharpening hooks and needles. And so I think that's a really cool thing to see on one of these cards. Again, this one's valued at $21.95, and their signature cards are some of the more kind of versatile cards. They don't usually stick to one theme. You can see this one has a knife, it has a saw, it has the needles and the hooks and the lures, and so it's not just a fishing card, it's more like a survival type cards. And so I always like seeing these signature cards in here. And so again, I'll show you that information card on the Bob Handler signature card. Feel free to pause and read through it. But other than that, that is everything in this month's subscription. So overall, I think we ended up with a value of around $46 or so. Again, it's higher because of these tip guides. It's really going to depend on, how you value those. I value them about the same as the tip cards. Obviously more information, maybe a little bit less of a format that I prefer, but either way, still good to have in there. So let me know what you think of this month's subscription down in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, and hitting the notification button. They all help the channel out a ton. And I hope you have a great one. Take care.